digging in the crates for something good. Hidden gems often misunderstood. 'Cause you know there's no such thing as too much. Miscellaneous important stuff.
Welcome back to the show. This week, my friend Carlos was here, and we actually had a few different topics that we were going to discuss. I don't think we got to any of those topics. We ended up talking about DJing. DJing? I think I'm saying that right. I think that would be the way, the verb version of it, right? Carlos still DJs, some. Used to do it more, and you know, I think this was just going to be sort of a side conversation, and we were going to talk about it a little bit and get into some other stuff, but we ended up talking about it for the whole 40 minutes. So if you're interested in what a DJ is, what that means, how you get into it, all those details, then keep listening. And if not, still keep listening, because I think it was a good conversation, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Here it is. Carlos, does it feel different now that we're recording?
Does it?
Does it?
I don't know.
You tell me. I feel fine.
Do we just become best friends?
No.
Dang
No.
it.
That was a different time. You're thinking of a different time.
A different time.
Okay. So I feel like you're into 300 different things.
Sounds like it.
Maybe more. Tell me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're into a lot of different things. You've been into things in the past that maybe you're not into now or you don't do anymore, but you're all over the place. And I mean that in the best way, that you're interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Been a DJ, still DJ sometimes, right?
Just family parties, I'd say.
All right, but how do you get into that? Because like I think everyone on some level loves music and might think, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll DJ.
Well, I think when I started was a little different than today. I think anybody can be a DJ today.
Really though?
Yeah, I mean, you watch like music festivals. I think the music producers, DJs are getting younger and younger every year.
Yeah, well, I guess the barrier to entry
has gotten way easier.
Yeah, but that's just like saying everyone could be, I don't know, a writer. You could do it, but if you don't put in the time, you're not going to be good at it.
Yeah, I agree. It's similar. I'd say it's similar to like people saying, you know, I'm a photographer with, you know, the iPhone camera doing all the work.
Yeah. Okay, but you got into it, and was it because you wanted to be good at it, or was it because you liked music?
See, so
give me your story. Give me your origin story.
I'll give you the story. So there's footage of me somewhere at my parents' house of me getting records for Christmas and getting records for my birthday. One record in particular my mom always mentions is this, it's not really a Disney thing, but it's in Mexico there was this one group called Cri Cri.
Okay.
It's basically...
So wait, say that again.
Cri Cri.
Cri Cri?
I mean, we can listen to it.
Spell it out for me.
C-R-I-C-R-I.
Oh, Cri Cri.
Yeah. Basically, it's a talking cricket.
Okay.
So take Alvin and the Chipmunks.
But a cricket just makes like weird squeaky violin sounds.
That's true.
Is that what this music was?
No, it was just like children's melodies and stuff.
Okay.
So it was very melodic. Like, I just remember I was probably 3 or 4 at the time. So there is footage of me and like photos of me being so excited to get this vinyl. And well, like I said, my dad used to be a radio DJ, so yeah. He had Technic turntables, 2 of them, at the house. So my first introduction to like spinning records was probably that. And my mom just telling me on how I used to be able to drag a chair just drag a chair because it was too tall. It's probably like 6 feet, 5 feet. It was pretty tall. Just dragging a table, getting on top of the turntable section, and just placing that record and just figuring out how to place the needle.
Just messing with it.
Yeah. So there's footage of me attempting a few times, and then eventually once I got it, it was like the only thing I wanted to do. Just play that record over and over again.
That's cool. It's like kids now with an iPad, where it's like it's around. You see other people using it, and then you learn to use it, right? Because if he was a DJ, I'm sure it was just like you said, it was just there.
Yeah, I mean, he had like massive stacks of records, just record boxes but I didn't really appreciate like any of that music.
Yeah.
At that time, I think the only other album that my dad mentions that I would play was the Slim Shady LP.
Yes.
But I did not know anything that it said. Like it was just something about the rap that he did. It was probably.
Sometimes like music like that just feels good though. Like you don't even care what the words are.
Oh yeah. But I think that's probably like I'd say the DJ Carlos origin story of my love for records and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how'd you start actually going out and doing it?
So, I mean, for a while my dad was doing it. So it was like I was constantly being the handyman, and I not really doing anything, but just tagging along for the road.
You say he was a radio DJ though? Would that be different than like doing shows somewhere?
So I think when he was radio DJing, that was like part of his passion, because he would also be like a taxi driver at night. But it was like don't mean to hit that. But he was constantly doing radio. But then I think, and this was again a little bit before my time, he started getting into like private gigs and stuff, because being a radio DJ for like disco, he was playing at nightclubs and then people sought him out.
Yeah. So
then I just remember at some point he started buying a lot of equipment, and then me just tagging along with, at the time he had like 5 or 6 friends that would help him out, and I 6-year-old me pretending to be a big help. But I think
that's cool though. I mean, my dad was in the Air Force, so like going to his office I remember was fun.
Yeah. Just
because it's like just going to see what my dad does, but I don't know, going somewhere where somebody's playing music. I mean, I'm sure it's like I would imagine it would feel like he's some sort of star in a way.
Oh yeah, I think I mean to this day, everything like music knowledge base that I have couldn't do it without him. That I think that's something that even around the office, that the stuff we listen to is kind of like nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
I think, maybe not everybody appreciates like the different genres that get played, but there's like a few songs that get, you have your Taylor Swifts, but when have you heard like Rem, Losing My Religion on full blast?
Yeah, it's rare, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I used to see my dad DJ a lot. So then once I got around 11, he started letting me play at some of these parties with him supervising and teaching me.
Cool. So he'd like stand over you, but you were working the...
He started teaching me about sound engineering and making sure, audio levels and all that. That was kind of like the steps that led me to finally getting on there. But he did give me like a full disclosure that at one point I would have to speak on the mic if I wanted to, and I was terrified. I hated
just the idea of speaking in front of people.
Yeah, I mean it's overwhelming, especially being a kid that maybe you're not as confident that people will appreciate what you do or what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you kind of get stage fright.
And just because you don't have the experience, like you don't know how people are going to react when you talk.
Yeah.
Other adults.
I think where I first gained my confidence is I managed to convince my middle school to let me DJ. And none of them believed that I was a DJ. It was like, you hear some kid, it's like my dad works for Nintendo.
Yeah.
One of those stories. And so then...
Yeah, sure, Carlos. Okay.
So it took a lot of convincing, but then, they let me. And I think that was the first time where, I was surrounded by people I knew. So I kind of got confident in the mic. And then it just... From there, I think, I started getting my own gigs.
At that young of an age?
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you that, early... What is it? 2006, 2007, I started playing for some nightclubs.
Cool.
I mean, I wasn't allowed to be near the bar.
Yeah, how does that work though? If you're playing for...
You got to sneak through the back. I mean, that was something that I constantly had to do. My dad obviously had to be there.
Yeah.
But
it was still allowed?
Yeah.
I guess there's rules.
Let's just say,
Was it legal or was it not?
Let's just say...
There's
a lot of under the table that happens in the music industry in general.
That's what I'm talking about. Cash only?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you're technically not allowed to work. You're not allowed to file taxes.
So doesn't matter if it's cash.
It's true. So there was, I was exposed at a pretty young age to see like the stuff that, you see movies now of like people partying and stuff and, getting like this extreme like Hollywood picture of what the perfect nightclub party is.
Yeah.
But I got to see probably like the worst because I think that taught me not to be around those places too much.
Yeah.
At a young age because, you're young and sober. You see all these people, I would see like, you see like all these other nightclub, whatever, like movies out there with music, nightclub scenes.
Drugs.
Yeah, you see
alcohol.
all of it, but you see the worst part of it.
Sex. Stuff. Wait, how old are you when you did like your first
Like
nightclub
stuff?
Yeah.
I started like said DJing at 11, probably like 14 or 15 was like the first when I first started getting appearances.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of work cuz you have to basically be able to get your own gigs.
Yeah.
And then, a promoter sees you and then they're like, "We like you to play at our nightclub."
All right, so what could you get paid for like a nightclub gig?
So nightclubs are actually pretty crappy.
Cool.
If you're really looking to make money, it's more on like the private events.
Okay.
So I'd say on a nightclub, you're looking at, and I know like today's rate, like even if you were to play like Fassler Hall here, Fassler pays around 120, 125.
And how many hours is that?
That's a 2 hour.
2 hours. I mean,
2
it's not the
hours.
worst thing in the world. Although you probably got to get there hour before, right?
Yeah, so you can, so that's another thing about like DJing. It's like, so when I started, I was charging probably like $300, $400. But private events are a whole different beast because basically you have to set up everything yourself, And so like I would never take into account let's say the event, your wedding is 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours from like, 5 p.m. till 10 p.m., something like that.
Oh, my wedding's going later than that. Come on. I'm not getting married, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so, 5 p.m., 10 p.m., that's a normal wedding. Traditionally, like, that's kind of like the ballpark of most events. I would probably be at the venue at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, setting up.
6 in the morning?
Yep. Sometimes the day before.
What are you doing for all those hours? How much are you setting up?
So, at some point, I had about, we got to like $30,000 to $40,000 worth of equipment. So it's basically bringing like the nightclub experience, or bringing like a pretty good light show, a pretty good sound experience.
They're not providing anything. You're bringing.
Yeah, you're bringing everything. So hauling, from hauling a truck to the location, going to storage, picking up all the stuff, taking it to the event,
making sure it all works,
talking to whoever I need to talk to let me in.
Man. Yeah, boy. So what's a private event? That's a wedding would be a private event, right?
Yeah, weddings are private events. I think Hispanics have more parties. So when I started, it was a lot of Hispanic events. They celebrate for everything.
Yeah.
Baptisms, that's a thing. Somebody turns 1, that's a big thing.
1?
Yep.
I'm not having a party for a 1-year-old. I'm not having a party for a kid that's not going to remember it.
It's not.
I believe people do it.
It's not for the kids.
Well, sure, but still.
It's kind of one of those things. It's never for the kid.
No, I guess any kid well, no, that's not true. Some kid birthday parties are for the kids, but it's when they can remember it and they can ask for it.
That's true.
1-year-old's not asking for a DJ. I guarantee it. I don't care how good you are. No 1-year-old's asking for you because they don't know.
Yeah, man, there are so many events. So different events require different amounts of equipment, and then I kept the same rate for a while, so that's kind of what made me different from the competition.
No matter what you were doing, it was same rate?
So I kept the same rate no matter how much equipment I was bringing. So 2019, the few friends that are still DJing, and other people that I know, if you're doing private events now, people want photographers,
right,
videography, drone, and that's to be provided by the DJ sometimes.
A drone?
Yeah.
It's
getting to the point that you're basically like a party package. That's how you have to sell yourself. But it's per equipment or per item that you bring, it's you're looking at a higher build. I think for a while I kept the same rate, and then it basically, I want to say I got left behind.
Because you kept the same rate?
Yeah.
All right, well, break it down for me. I'm having not a wedding. I'm having a party for my 1-year-old.
Okay.
Really, for me. What's the price range I'm going to look at for a DJ if I'm having? Does it matter how many people I'm having there? Is that a thing? All right. But let's just assume I'm having 5,000 people. That's probably ballpark. 3,000 to 5,000. That's who's showing up. Give me what's the price range for a DJ, for a good DJ?
A good DJ.
Yeah, I don't want any of this amateur stuff. I want a pro DJ.
Okay. So current rate?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So like for me to take on something like that, I'd say you're looking at a ballpark of 1,200.
Okay, and that's for how long?
So
you say like 5 hours? Is that but you'd get there?
Yeah, like I said, I'm fairly lenient on everything. So yes, our agreement might be 5 hours. Unless you become Bridezilla.
I'm not getting married. This is for my kid, man.
Bridezilla is anybody that gets involved too much.
There should be another name for those people, though. Should be another term. We need more terms.
Come up with one.
Right now?
A Karen? I don't know.
It's taken. You need another name.
Yeah, so 1,200 is kind of I'm pretty lenient. So like, let's say, I go set up. Sometimes you have to work with venues. They don't want you to be there before a certain time.
Yeah.
That's fine. So that just means more work for me.
Sure.
But, on average, like a party like that, you're looking at sometimes they start at like 3 in the afternoon, 4.
Yeah.
So
And go till when? I'm
uh,
comparing parties right now.
So kid parties can. I just want to say, like, some parties will go from like 3 to 8.
Oh, lame.
So,
It's weak.
but I've also had kid parties that go till 3 in the morning. 4.
Oh yeah,
Those are the ones that.
that's my speed. Like
Yeah.
once a year.
Those are the ones that you have to cut off. Otherwise,
Can you
they'll
cut
be-
them off? Do you just stop the music and leave?
I mean, you have contracts.
Okay.
You have to have contracts.
No handshake deals?
I mean, I learned a long time ago. You do a handshake.
Oh,
Was there-
well, if you shake the right hands, I think there are plenty of people that are like true to their word, but
I mean,
you can't trust that.
everybody values their bang for their buck.
Oh,
know.
sure.
I do it. You want to get the best experience, but you also want to get, the amount of hours.
Yeah,
that
I want a DJ for 12 hours and I want to pay $20.
done.
Where do I find that? What section of Craigslist do I have to go on?
I mean, I personally had to stop for a while DJing for my family because we used to rent out a venue and do a crazy New Year's party.
Cool.
And then one year, it decided to basically go from like 8 a.m. New Year's Eve to about 6 or 7 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
New Year's Day.
That's all night.
To the point that, like, we were taking turns, like, just mixing, like, my dad and I. And then I remember falling asleep, like, on the floor by, like, 3 a.m. because I was tired.
It's kind of cool, though. Going back and forth with your dad.
Well,
That's pretty sweet.
it's cool, but then, literally you're just playing music for the last drunk people that are
Well, yeah.
still awake.
But just appreciate the memory with me, even though I wasn't there. I just think that sounds nice. DJing with your dad. Good moment.
Yeah,
Just say it was a good moment, all right? For me. Just say it for me.
it was a great moment.
Oh my god, I knew it. I knew it.
So yeah, I mean, partying, like, as far as like the cost, I think every year they go up, but you pay for what you get. I've lost plenty of gigs for people that underpay, like charge somebody $200-$400.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I feel like that's a problem with any creative
Industry.
service
Yep.
because there's always going to be that person that's like, yeah, I'll do it
Yeah.
for whatever because I don't need that much money and don't know really what it's worth yet. But then there'll be the day where they're like, I can't charge that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I lost a wedding just a few months ago to somebody that they were like, well, we have a friend that can do it
Oh,
for this
God.
price.
Everyone's got that friend.
Well, they went with that friend, and then, a few months later, they hit me up. Basically, their wedding already passed. They just hit me up saying that, they wish they would have gotten me because...
That's the worst. I always feel bad for those people because that happens. Like I've heard that, especially with photography, where if you don't know anything about photography, you're like, oh, this person's gonna do it for $200. I saw their portfolio. It looks great, but they've got they've really cherry picked those photos, and then they're really disappointed, and it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think with that experience, it's just funny because what they were telling me is that the DJ was played the wrong version of a song, and it was supposed to be like a memorable, like, dance with, I think it was like the groom and the mom.
Ugh,
And
that's
he
sad.
played like a EDM, like a electronic remix. So
of like this like really nice ballad.
like it started as the song,
Oh no!
and then it transitioned, like, it
Built to a drop.
Yep. And it's that kind of stuff, like, I have to buy all my music, stuff like that. That makes, somebody that likes the craft, likes, making sure that the experience for the people that are paying you, it's what they expect from an event. I mean, every event has to be like, at ICG we say, every client is just as big as the next.
But yeah, you should treat every client like
Exactly.
that. I mean, I mean, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
But everyone, if you're paying money, we're all like this. We're paying money. You want to feel like you're being taken care of.
Exactly.
Not taken care of less than this other guy who's paying more or is more important.
Yeah, I mean, I used to. So there's plenty of times where I would not have music. I think the one place I can recall is the one wedding I played that was a mixture of like country and J-pop, K-pop.
Country and K-pop?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, what a mixture.
That was probably like 6 years ago.
Sounds fun though.
Yeah, so the groom, country boy, Oklahoma. The bride was more of, I think she was, half Korean, but she was mixed, or she wanted to have K-pop in the wedding. So I got a long list of, pleasing both parties.
Yeah.
So it's been it's probably like the most memorable event.
Wow. What a pair.
Yeah.
Man.
So I probably made maybe like $100 off that.
Really?
All costs included.
Because of having to buy music?
Yeah.
Man.
Just because I saw it as an investment because out of that, I made $100, but out of that event, I think there was 3 or 4 more parties that came from that. So at the end of the day, I didn't, I was not happy that I only made $100 at the time, but I was pretty happy that they were happy.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes sense.
It's been one of the ones that I've played so many events at this point as far as like private events. Cause I left, the nightclub stuff just cause after a while it's not for me.
Wears you down, I assume. Like just, yeah, I don't know. Without even being there, I feel like I get a feeling from nightclubs where I'm like, it would just get old pretty quick.
And I think, the difference between like private events and nightclubs is every single nightclub has a theme.
Right.
You go to certain parts of town, you expect a certain kind of vibe. I mean, you go to a country bar, you don't expect to hear Usher playing in the background.
That'd be interesting. I'd show up for that.
I think like the most memorable is creating those experiences like K-pop and country because I got to practice and do some mixes where I would mix a K-pop song with a country song like a Tim McGraw or something like that. That cool. Sounded awesome.
So what do you like? How would you'd have to buy the music, but what does that even mean? Because you're not just playing songs that like where do you go to buy that music to play at a party?
Apple Music or Apple or iTunes, I'd say.
Okay.
iTunes was probably the easiest.
So you're not just going to like a specialty site. You're just buying the singles and then using those to mix.
I mean, Beatport. I don't know if you ever.
I don't know that one. No.
Beatport is huge on like EDM market.
Okay.
So that one was more specific if you were looking for. I think now. Again, going back to like the idea of entry level DJing.
Yeah.
There's so many resources now, like a few websites that I use now. Man, I can't think of the URL. But
it's like there was one you were talking to me about where you get stems.
Yeah, you can get stems. No, I'm talking about there's a few websites now, basically like whatever is going to be the hottest song on the radio, you'll have it before it premieres.
That's cool. Do you get like a subscription?
Yeah, so it's a subscription. You have to pay a very high subscription.
But that's kind of like being on like if you're on the radio and you have, you're able to play all these.
Well, so there's lots.
You're kind of in that exclusive club.
Yeah, so there's lots of rules that you can't record and stuff like that. But like if you want to have like, let's say if Taylor Swift came out with a new song, that website would probably have it if it was more of a what we would call a banger.
Like a radio hit.
Yeah.
Something that's going to be everywhere, that everyone's going to be playing.
Yeah, so you'll get it, maybe a week or two before it hits airwaves, or before it's allowed to hit airwaves.
Yeah.
With a lot of rules and stipulations of how to play it.
Huh.
So that's what's interesting about now. If you're kind of in the know of certain things, you could probably, be the first one to play a song at a party, at a 1-year-old party.
Which is kind of cool.
And premiere a song, and then, it takes off, and then that's everybody's favorite song.
So how would you, if you're DJing a party, what do you do to intro the whole thing? How do you introduce yourself? DJ Carlos comes out, like what is that experience like?
What is that experience? That's where my graphic design skills come into play.
Why would you do?
I tend to test like my video editing skills.
Okay.
So, before we started the show, talking about having monitors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up to date. I started getting into like video DJing because that's kind of like the new frontier for like nightclub production. Basically, you go to a nightclub, people are wanting to DJ video mixes, which
cool.
Turntables can now support and all that. Now it's more computer. When I started on vinyl, then CDs, and now we're back to like
vinyl,
just plug and play.
Well, but also
vinyl.
Okay,
that's true. I mean, vinyl never died. It's just
it's gone down. But I get it though. Like I have some vinyl just because it's fun.
Yeah,
There's no real reason other than it's just sort of fun.
I mean,
for me,
reading the other day, I saw that Apple Music and Spotify, if you have those subscriptions, Pioneer, which is also a turntable manufacturer, they're going to start including that to be able to play it.
Oh, cool.
So basically, the way it loads in the track as you stream it, you should be able to load it in with the WAV files.
Man.
So that's coming, 2020, something like that.
So that's technology. The way things have come along, it's crazy.
So basically, if a DJ ever turns you down on a request, before it's probably because they didn't really have it.
Like, you just don't want to play it.
Yeah. Now it's,
Oh, I'm calling some DJs out. Don't lie to me. You have it. You have it or you can get it.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you say you were video DJing there, would you put stuff together before? Like you're editing stuff together that's going to play with the songs like on monitor behind you?
Yeah, so like I'll custom make videos for events. I'll make a fancy introduction, voiceover work, and then edit a video behind it, something like that. So my After Effects skills kind of come into play from there. So that's where I'll I did Stranger Things. That project came from like just wanting to know how to do like the 80s burn.
Yeah, that effect.
Yeah. So it's projects like that where it's like, okay, this is somebody's wedding. What can I do with it? So I'll put something together, sketch something up. I already have some pre-made assets, but normally I'll be like, think like a Marvel entrance.
Okay.
Like that type of, so I like to start with very like orchestral pieces with voiceover work, whatever introduction.
Okay.
And then the video, whatever it needs to tell. And then lead into like mixing a few music videos.
So that's more the focus. Is not you getting on mic and saying, "How we feeling tonight, Oklahoma City?"
I mean, that's part of it.
Okay.
That's definitely part of it.
Just trying to get a feel for like what this would be like.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
a lot of DJs. So.
Well, I think for me, starting that was kind of something that I wanted to up the competition.
Right.
So I've only been in Oklahoma City for 2 years, so don't really have a footprint in the city.
Yeah.
So most of this is Tulsa, and Stillwater when I was in college. So at the time, not really anybody was doing video stuff. Like, as far as people that, or DJs that were just doing private events. Because nightclubs started doing that, the day that technology becomes accessible.
Yeah, of course.
People just
make
wanna,
themselves different.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot easier for nightclubs. I mean, 2019, every DJ now has 4 or 5 TV screens that they give that you can see, your kid baby photo and stuff like that.
I mean, it's smart. I mean, I guess everyone has got to push it a little bit to set yourself apart.
Yeah, I mean, so like one of my good buddies of mine, he basically does that now. He took a lot of my equipment. He's
Stole it?
No, I got rid of it.
Okay.
You
Do
know,
you know if we need to call him out?
graphic design is my passion.
Wait, so are you, because you said you don't do it as much anymore, but are you trying to do it more? Are you passionate about it? Are you pursuing it? Will you pursue it? Like, what is what's the future like for DJ Carlos?
Man,
Or do you even know yet?
it's always so growing up, my dad was always just wanting me to focus in school. So I remember sitting down with him and just being like, I don't mind you doing this. Just keep it as a hobby.
Yeah.
So I think, and I remember hating him for that. Because I was like, I'm going to make it. At the time, you didn't see much DJing. Now you have artists that their careers are built on music production, but
Yeah, we're like making millions.
Yeah. I mean, early 2000s, that wasn't it. I mean, DJ Tiesto but they
Just
weren't
rare.
Yeah, they weren't as big.
It wasn't a thing. Like, just like pro gaming wasn't what it like back then.
Yeah.
What it is now.
So he basically instilled that to me, where he was like, see it as a hobby, something that, you can use it to pass the time.
Yeah.
Maybe get you some skills.
Probably trying to protect you in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that I was very passionate growing up. Passionate, still a few years ago. I'm still passionate about it. It was just something that once I got into my career field, it started kind of falling off just because it's very demanding.
Sure.
So,
you need the time.
So, everybody just sees you DJing, especially if you're just doing private events. By the time 10 p.m. comes, or 11 p.m. Or whatever, everybody gets to go home.
Right.
Well, you got to pick up, and you got to make sure that everything's still organized in the same structure that you have.
Yeah, you can't just dump it in your car. You gotta.
Especially now. I mean, now it's just me and my dad. Like, I don't pay for a crew anymore because, again, don't do it as often.
Right.
But at the time when I did a crew, we could pick it up in 30 minutes and be out almost within an hour.
It's not bad.
So it was pretty good. But now, if I'm DJing an event till like 12 midnight, it takes me and my dad. Occasionally my younger brother will come down, but a solid hour and a half just to pick up. And then by the time we get home to put it up, I still have to take down. And, you're looking at 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you fall asleep.
All the stuff that you have to do that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, after you just DJed, you're like, I don't really want to.
So you do that. And then if I get like an event, in Tulsa, so I'll leave Friday, DJ Saturday, sleep somewhat Sunday.
Right.
But then I still have to drive back to the city to make it back to work. So it's very demanding. So that's part of the reason why I'm probably doing it less. It's just it's a lot of work. So, I have buddies that are wanting me to go back into nightclub to help me with connections here in town, but haven't taken them up on those offers just because I think, again, it's just career right now.
Sure.
Wanting to get better at what I do now before I maybe step back into the ring.
Yeah. Get like settled with one thing before you go back to another.
Yeah, I mean, we can work on an album, Jay.
Oh, it's gonna be so lit or whatever they say. Well, Carlos, believe it or not, we were out of time.
Are we?
That was 40 minutes.
Man.
Well, we got 30 seconds left, but geez, I have so many more questions. Just have to do it again.
Guess there's
We just scratched the surface.
Well, whenever you want to have me.
All right. Well, you know what? If I if I ever have a kid and then that kid turns 1, I'm demanding you as a DJ because, I want to have that party that I actually said I didn't want to have in the beginning, but just hearing how crazy they get, I'm like, I need to do it. Yeah, I need to do it. All right. Well, any last words, any last comments, anything you want to say to the world about you and your lost passion?
My lost passion.
No, not. I don't really mean that, unless it's true. But
I don't know, man. Baby Yoda memes are cool.
Oh, what a great way to end it! If you have not looked up any Baby Yoda memes, look them up now. And if you don't understand them, then well, I can't help you. But Carlos, thanks for being here, and
thanks
come
for
back
having
soon.
me, man.
Of course. Thanks again to Carlos for coming on the show. I had a lot of fun, and I feel like I learned some stuff this week that I didn't expect to learn, which is always a good thing, right? Always a good thing. And, I'm interested in music, and DJing that's a world that I really didn't know anything about and probably still don't know much about. But it was fun to get a glimpse into that world. So, Carlos, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me today. But that's it for this week. If you like this episode, please let me know. If you hated this episode, please let me know. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, please let me know. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.